Working with AGS makes light setup simple because it's self-illuminated and does not require dedicated lights. Sometimes to make a particular shot, a so-called green man is needed to perform a role of an invisible force. This is someone dressed in a green suit and assists actor with either motion or props. The issue with green suit is, unlike AGS, it cannot self-illuminate and requires lights to hit the suit from all angles in order to create even shades of green. Human figure is not flat and casts a ton of shadows all over itself and its surroundings. To make things more complicated, placing an actor in front of green man creates a rather challenging scenario because the actor is now blocking the light, hence casting additional shadows onto green suit. It all quickly becomes a production nightmare to light up a scene. Some of those issues can be corrected in post, though, depending on the dynamics of the scene, it may not be the easiest task to complete. Nevertheless, here is how to fix complex and horrifically uneven green suit in Davinci Resolve. With clips placed in the edit timeline, switch to Fusion and create a baseline for the chroma keying. There is a link in upper corner for detailed tutorial on how to do that. Looks okay, except of course for the problem near one of the hats created by the shadow. To make it disappear, we will need to create yet another delta keyer dedicated to address the issue. Copy and paste existing delta keyer and connect media from denoiser to newly copied delta keyer input, yellow triangle. Then introduce a new matte control between original delta keyer and merge node. In matte control options, choose Combine Alpha in Combine option and select the Post Multiplier Image checkbox. Now connect output from copied delta keyer, yellow square, to matte control input, green triangle. At the moment, the new delta keyer affects the entire frame, so we need to limit it to just an area that needs the fix. Create a new polygon and draw a shape around the problematic part of the image. Then connect the polygon output to the matte control mask, blue triangle. From now on, any changes we make to the new delta keyer will only affect the region defined by the polygon. Let's play forward and look at what we've got. The shadow has appeared as we progress the timer since the green suit has changed its position. And so we also have to adjust to its new position as well. Select the entire shape and drag it down by one of the corners to cover the shadow spot. Also make it a little bit bigger while at it. What we did is automatically create a new animation key for the polygon shape to travel along with the shadow. As we can see, the shadow becomes bigger and appears down below, so we need to adjust the shape of the polygon to cover it. That action creates yet another animation key. You can see a little white mark on the timeline. Each mark represents the animation key. If we play the clip, our polygon shape now travels top to bottom with the shadow and masks it perfectly. Now, it may be that we need to cover for more than one imperfection. For example, at the top of the other hat, there is yet another issue. We will introduce another set of correctors, combination of delta keyer, matte control, and polygon to cover for it. Adjust newly copied delta keyer parameters till the problem is fixed. Just like before, adjust the position and shape of the polygon as the shadow travels throughout the timeline as needed. We now have a great looking chroma with multiple delta keyers working together. Let's switch to color mode to better see what those shadows were a part of. It was an underarm and shadow casted by one of the hats. As mentioned before, every manipulation with the polygon shape has created an animation key. We can take a look at those by clicking on the spline icon. Click on the shape you want to work the keys for example polygon 2, and move the timeline vertical bar over the yellow lock icon. Those are animation keys that you can now either modify, create new one, or delete. This is very useful if higher precision is required to track polygons. Here is an example of complete project with the several additional delta keyers to address green suit issues. Because this was highly dynamic scene, actors moved a lot during the performance, A good number of animation keys were used to track the green suit. As with most projects, do as much as time permits or quality required to meet the end goal. Unless it's next budget Marvel Studio movie, no need to overdo it. One more thing. For the final render, instead of smooth motion at 60 frames per second, I wanted to have more of a film feel for it. The original clip was shot at 60 FPS to minimize the motion blur, and the project was also made in 60 FPS timeline. So how do we change this to 24 FPS and keep the overall runtime of the clip the same as the original? Go to the Edit tab and make sure that the timeline coverage, gray bar at the top, stretches across the clip you need to convert to a different frame rate. Now, right-click on the timeline one and select Create New Timeline using selected clips. Uncheck Use Project Settings, and then under the Format tab, we'll do the following things. First, we'll change the resolution to 1080p. This is native resolution of the original clip. And second, we'll change timeline frame rate to 24. We have a new timeline too, that is 1080p at 24 FPS, and also the original timeline 1. You can switch between two timelines when needed. To see those timeline tabs, make sure to select Stacked Timelines under Timeline View Options. If we go to the Delivery tab, we can now export this project in 1080p at 24 FPS. Because those 24 frames were interpolated from 60 frames per second, this clip will have the very same runtime as the original clip. While it was a suffocating experience for a person wearing a green suit, it was a lot of fun for the rest of us. By the way, here is the edited clip with the floating heads.